I'm Councilmember Brenda Stardig. I am the council member for District A. I'm also the chair of Public Safety and Homeland Security. Many of you know that I work consistently with law enforcement and Crime Stoppers and other partners in our communities, and I am proud today to have a number of our partners with us. I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce, and then we'll have each speaker come up to the podium so that we make sure that the microphones pick up their statements. We appreciate the media being here. I know it's a rainy day and a little bit further out than sometimes you come, but we are proud that you're here. Today we have with us from the Northwest Division of the Houston Police Department, Captain James Bryant. We also have Lieutenant Gunner from the Special Victims Division of the Houston Police Department. We have Detective Jennifer Waters from Special Victims Division. From Spring Branch ISD Police, we have Chief Daring, the Chief of Police. We also have from Crime Stoppers, the Executive Director, Rania Mancarias. We also have the Executive Director of the Spring Branch Family Development Center, Ricardo Barnes, and Community Leader. I also invited a civic leader, an up-and-coming is what I would call her, Miriam Garcia. She's one of the moms of the Booster Club at Northbrook. And I wanted to make sure that we had everyone recognized here today. Hopefully, did I get everyone? Who did I miss? No, I'm just kidding. Dr. Murray has been... that's the obvious. See, we don't state the obvious. Dr. Murray, with all seriousness, Dr. Murray has been an excellent, outstanding partner. He and I were first on the phone this morning, right away, texting each other, and this is what's the result of those conversations. Dr. Murray is an outstanding leader for Spring Branch ISD, and I have full confidence in everything that he works towards. So once again, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to go down the list, and we're going to start off today with the Houston Police Department, Captain Angelo, Special Victims Division. He will give you an update.
Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for being here. My name is David Angelo, A-N-G-E-L-O. I'm the captain over the Special Victims Division for the Houston Police Department. I want to thank Councilwoman Stardig for performing this press conference to update you on the incident that occurred yesterday at 3100 Crestdale. I'm going to offer general information right now. I probably won't be able to answer a lot of detailed questions, but just please bear with me as I provide the information, and we'll take some questions following everybody's statement. So yesterday at approximately 8:30 yesterday morning, we had a victim who attends the Northbrook High School, who was walking to school on the 3100 block of Crestdale. As she was walking to school, she was approached by a Hispanic male. The Hispanic male approached her and grabbed her buttocks, and this female student fought the individual off, where he ran away, got into a white SUV, and drove off from the scene. A little while later, almost this identical MO, we had a second student from Northbrook High School walking down Crestdale. This same individual, who we believe, driving the same vehicle, which we believe, the identical MO walked up to the second student later on and grabbed her buttocks as well. Once again, this student screamed at the suspect to scare him away, in which he ran off and drove his white SUV. We did have a third-party witness, independent witness, who observed one of the assaults, and we're in the process of interviewing all parties right now. Interviews have been scheduled for the victims for tomorrow, and the witness as well. So our goal is to identify the suspect as quickly as we can, and bring appropriate charges. Again, the suspect is identified as a Hispanic male, 30 to 40 years of age, driving a white sport utility vehicle. Right now, we won't be releasing the names or the ages or the grades of where the victims, they attend the Northbrook High School, but we won't be releasing any identifying information at this time. That's all I have regarding this update right now. I guess, Chief Deering, are you up next?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Chief Deering is going to bring you up to speed on a second incident that occurred that Spring Branch ISD is investigating.
Thank you, sir. I'm Chief Bruce Deering, Spring Branch ISD. This morning, approximately 8 o'clock, we had two other victims on the way to Spring Woods Middle School who were approached by a black male who exposed himself to them. Both students did the right thing and ran away and reported it immediately. We don't have a lot of information right now other than a black male, 30 to 40 years of age, in a gray four-door car. We've already talking to our victims, and this is going to be handed over to our investigations, who will try to follow up as quickly as possible to try to identify the suspect in this case. This is a separate incident from the one that happened yesterday at Northbrook High School. At this time, that's about all the information we have on that right now.
This one occurred today?
Yes, ma'am.
What time?
About 7:30 to 8.
What did this individual say to the kids?
All they were doing right now is that he just called the victims over to him, and that's about all I can tell you right now.
He was still sitting in the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And these were two little boys or two little girls?
Two girls.
Did he ask them to get into his vehicle?
No, ma'am. No, sir. No, that's about all I can tell you right now. We're still in active investigation, and we will try to resolve it as quickly as possible. I'm going to be followed now by Superintendent Dr. Scott Murray.
The safety and security of the students in Spring Branch ISD is absolutely critical to each of us. And so the incident yesterday morning and the incident today remind us that our children are fragile. And the situation that we're having right now, a press conference and being surrounded by these incredible people, remind us of something different. It reminds us that we are surrounded by community members and various organizations that all work incredibly hard together to make sure that our kids are safe. And so today I'd like to lift up the Houston Police Department, who is represented here today and who was first on the scene yesterday. I lift up the Spring Branch ISD Police Department, who again on the scene yesterday and again this morning with our students. I lift up Brenda Stardig, who this morning she and I were talking first thing of her concern for the safety of our kids and wanting to know what she could do in response. I lift up Crime Stoppers, who is here with us today to again encourage our community to do what's right and to, when they see something, say something. I lift up the girls that were involved both yesterday and today who did the right thing, who fought off an attacker, who spoke out, one girl who called her mother immediately, girls that knew what to do when danger approached, and so I commend those young ladies and the moms and dads that equipped them to do what's right in this situation. I lift up the counselors and the teachers and the administrators of those students that were present. Those girls immediately went to their school personnel and informed them, and those personnel took immediate action. So I commend the relationships that our teachers and counselors and administrators have with our kids, so that when kids feel in danger and are in jeopardy, they are willing to have great conversations and share important information about their own personal safety with our administrators and school staff. Again, I thank the people that are here today, and we live in an incredible place, a place that truly cares about the safety and security of our children and work together to make sure that we provide an entire environment that allows our kids to travel to and from school and to and from whatever they may be experiencing in a very safe manner. And I also remind our parents to have really healthy conversations with your children. Remind them to never walk alone, walk in pairs and groups when they possibly can. Remind your children that when they're walking to not keep your head buried in your phone, but to be aware of your surroundings and understand what's happening. And then I encourage parents to continue those open lines of communication with their children, so that when children are involved in a dangerous situation, they feel comfortable enough to share that information with mom and dad. Again, our kids over the last 2 days did the right thing, and I'm thankful that they were equipped to do the right thing, and I'm incredibly thankful that they are safe today.
Good afternoon. My name is James Bryan. I'm the captain of Northwest Patrol Division for HPD, and I just would like to offer a few safety tips for our kids and families in our community as well as all over the city. As the superintendent said, we ask our kids to be aware of your surroundings at all times. You know, don't keep your head buried in the phone. Please look around. If you see something that doesn't look right, let someone know, like the young lady that did call her mother when she saw something out of place. I'm so proud of her for that. Avoid speaking to strangers and approaching unknown vehicles. You know you don't know the vehicle or the person in the car, do not approach. Instead, call for help. If possible, walk in pairs or in groups as opposed to walking alone. That's very important. You become less of a target if you do that. Parents, please know where your kids are before and after school every day. Know the routes that they take to school, and if something seems out of place or if they're not somewhere on time, check on them to make sure that they're safe. Students who may be standing alone during bus pickup or drop-off times need to be monitored. So anyone in the area that knows of a school, if there's a parent available that can stand by a bus stop when kids are getting on or off the bus, that would be very helpful. I would like to say that Northbrook High School has very strong safety and security measures, such as ID badges inside of the building. School doors are locked for the student safety, and the main doors are locked when school is not in session. So they're doing everything they can to make sure our students are safe. And if anyone, child, adult, or anything, sees something out of place or an incident occurring, if you see something occurring, please call 911, and we will respond. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Rania Mankarios, the Executive Director of Crime Stoppers of Houston. I want to first and foremost thank every single person for being here today. At Crime Stoppers, we are invested and committed to the safety of you, your families, and your children, and it's obvious that everyone here today joins us. You know, I'm not only the Executive Director of Crime Stoppers of Houston, but I'm also a mother. And as a mother, hearing about the incidences that have taken place over the last few days was and is absolutely infuriating. So I want to take a minute to make it clear to criminals and potential predators everywhere that as a community, we are a very powerful group, and that we as citizens have the backing of our elected officials, our law enforcement, our school community, and that we will stop at nothing. We will stop at nothing to not just protect our own children, but to protect all children. And I'd like to speak to the parents watching. Parents, please stop for a moment and take note that times have changed, and more children from the worst parts of town to the best parts of town are facing greater and greater risks. The reason is because the appetite for the exploitation and abduction of children is increasing. We look at the reality of the world around us. Nationally speaking, according to the FBI, there were almost 470,000 entries for missing children in 2016 alone. Once a child goes missing, there are many factors to consider: sexual assault, exploitation, murder, and of course human trafficking, specifically sex trafficking. Just within Texas alone, we know that approximately 80,000 minors and youth are victims of sex trafficking, and we know that that number is underreported. As a community, we ask you to wake up, to join us. We must have frank and honest conversations with our children about strangers in the community, about online safety when dealing with their social media followers, as well as safety measures that are in place across all of their social media platforms. We must equip them with both the risks and the tools necessary to stay safe. Through it all, Crime Stoppers of Houston remains a tool for every single person in this community, and a tool for students. You can always call us anonymously. We will never, ever, ever know who you are at 713-222-TIPS. As always, there is a cash reward for information. Thank you.
Who was next on the list? Is it me? It's me, I'm up. Wow. First of all, I want to say how proud I am of the young ladies. As a community leader, a civic leader, as someone that grew up in this community, as someone that's a product of Spring Branch ISD, as someone that walked to Springwoods Middle School myself, 2 miles to get to what we called junior high back then. It's a scary situation if you don't know who's approaching you, and then you're put in that situation. It had to be frightening for those young ladies. We're here to send the message to those young ladies that they did the right thing. They continue to do the right thing by working with us and with the community. I'm asking those neighbors that are along those routes to school that if you're at home in the morning and you're watching TV and whatever's happening, your cup of coffee or cup of tea, whatever it is, look out the window. If you see a young person walking down the street, watch them as far as you can. Everybody has to do their part. We all have to watch out for each other. It takes a community to do the right thing. We are a very strong community in Spring Branch. In case you didn't know, we are to be reckoned with. So anyone that comes into our community and decides they're going to take advantage of our students, our young people, or anyone in our community, they're wrong. They're very wrong, and shame on them. So once again, I want to thank everyone up here. We're taking this incident very seriously. I want to thank all the agencies that have come together to work together. And for many of you that know, I've worked with Crime Stoppers about 20 years, and Crime Stoppers is always here for us. It is another choice that students can make at school. Dr. Murray and everyone that's worked with us, I want to make sure that Ricardo Barnes and the community leaders that we have, the Spring Branch Family Development Center, those areas that we know that we have programs that are doing so well in our area, the communities, Spring Spirit Baseball, Family Development Center, all of those things that make a huge difference in our students' lives are the right thing to do. These are isolated incidents, but we take them very seriously, and I'm asking the media to get the word out that we're not going to tolerate it. We will not tolerate any of this in Spring Branch. We will not give up, and anyone that knows Brenda Stardig knows that I'm serious, and I mean it. So please, thank you again for coming today. We're going to take questions, so please feel free to ask any of our speakers, and they'll come back to the podium.
You're talking about, social media and how things are so prevalent. Do you think that somehow is playing a role in drawing these types of creeps to this particular area, to these particular schools? Has there been something going around on social media that's they're somehow cluing into and trying to come over here and prey on innocent kids?
I have not seen any indication that social media is driving people here. I think that if you look at on the 17th, we're having the boarding house meetings here in our community for stakeholders. The ordinances regarding housing and those things. Those are things that have identified. Those conversations have identified those people that are off the radar, that are that are not have not been identified and not being in a regulated environment. So we are proactively looking at opportunities to identify those people that are in our neighborhood that may be at a risk to our students and to our children. So we're proactively looking at those things, but we need to understand that social media is actually what drove the train today, drove us to this. I was watching social media because we have pages that are for Spring Branch community members only, the people that live here, and they had started identifying some of the issues that were not being addressed or people weren't aware of. And so we started having these conversations with Dr. Murray calling me, or I don't know who we called first. But we, just like in Harvey, we worked together. And so we have to work together as a community. That's the message.
If I could ask a
Yes,
question,
Deborah.
if the parents were notified yesterday about the 2 attempts, did a note go out or an alert by the school to parents of children at that school?
So we have 2 separate incidents, one
Right.
yesterday and one today. So the incident yesterday, we were notified, the school was notified when one of the students shared with a counselor at the school. We provided notification to the students themselves. These were high school students, so the principal on the intercom before the end of the day made sure that every child was aware, really equipped them with some tips. If you're walking home today, these are some strategies, but made sure that all the kids were aware. We have notified the community as well. We also took it a step further. We knew that we had middle school and elementary kids that traversed those same areas, so they were notified. And then in today's incident, the same thing. We've notified not only the students and parents of that school, but also the feeder elementaries to make sure that they're aware of incidents in the entire community. That's critically important to us to make sure that moms and dads and community members are aware of what's happening. And also equipping kids with knowledge to make smart choices.
Were there letters sent as well, or will there be today?
I'd have to refer to my communications team. We did, many times we use call-outs, so we do voicemails. We do use printed letters. I believe today
Or
there will be a
text
printed letter as
messages.
well as call-out today from those two situations. And again, also announcing on the school intercom to the students themselves to make sure that they are aware, when appropriate, of those incidents. So kind of leveraging all forms of communication to make sure that people are aware.
The incidents from yesterday, I'm sorry, Sherman, is that considered attempted abductions?
I will defer.
So right now, the initial information preliminarily, we don't believe it was an attempted abduction. We need to meet with both victims to get a detailed statement. We have the preliminary information from the responding patrol officer, but right now, as it stands, we don't believe it's an attempted abduction.
What
Why would
charge
that?
could he face?
Why not? Why not if he grabbed her, I think?
If he grabbed her buttocks, and this is more for trying to fulfill a fantasy of his, just assuming that's the case, and not trying to wrap his arms around her and pull her to a car, that would be just really right now a Class C assault. Now, until, again, we have interviewed both victims, get a more detailed statement from them to determine are there any other circumstances. Right now, we don't believe it's an
So you never,
attempted abduction.
from what they've told you, there was no attempt to pull them away?
Right now, all I'll say is we don't believe it is an attempted abduction. So, but we still have to interview both victims.
Is there any anticipation of sketches or anything like that?
I have a high degree of confidence that we will identify a suspect very quickly in this case.
So you have a suspect?
No, I don't have a suspect. I have a high degree of confidence we will have a suspect very shortly.
Why do you say that?
You know, again, just knowing the work that we do, how we do it, the databases that we have, I just am very confident that we will identify a suspect in this case. And when we do, we want to get that out to you guys as well. So we want to put the community at rest that there is no longer a danger. Let them know who it is as well.
Did anyone get a license plate number, or was there any surveillance that might have?
Yeah, we're looking into that. I can't comment as to the evidence that was that we have right now.
Is there any surveillance video?
Again, I can't comment as to what evidence we have right now until we speak to both victims, and we'll release more information at a later date. And I'm sorry about that, guys.
I know. That's a reporter's nightmare.
I know.
It's about.
I know.
Thank you.
But I think the commitment is there that you will get the information, and I think I don't think you would have me up here if you didn't have if we didn't have confidence in the process of moving forward, and so we will have success if I believe we'll have a great deal of success.
It must be alarming, disconcerting at the very least, to have two separate incidents involving 3 children within a day of each other. How alarming is that?
Sorry, I thought it was 4 kids. Is that correct? 4 kids?
There are 4 kids, okay.
Yeah, it's 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
It's
There
2
were
and
2
2.
kids,
2
sorry.
yesterday, 2 today.
Right, so how alarming is that?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
It's very unsettling to me that we have 2 incidents within 2 days, especially for our students that are walking to school that may not have the opportunity to have other forms of transportation to and from school. So that's why I'm asking that we ask the public to keep those extra eyes on the streets and to make sure that they report something. If they see something, say something. This is so important. Two incidents in 2 days, that's not good statistics, and any incident is not good statistics for us. It's we're not traditionally an area that has these type of issues, so I would ask you to continue to press the message that we have zero tolerance in our community, and that we will not tolerate it, and we will continue to press until we figure out who it is and that they are taken off the streets.
So are you talking about 1 or 2 suspects?
2. Yesterday was
1.
the Hispanic male, and today was the black male.
Chief Deering, is there in the past year or so how have you had any other similar incidents
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
area?
Yes, ma'am, we
Can you
have.
talk a little bit about that then?
Last year, we had another gentleman expose himself, whom I think he's still in jail. And there was another incident before that of a nude man seen on the street. That's the only two other incidents I think happened last year. That was all in the general area of the Springwood Middle School.
And the other guy, was he ever caught, the lead guy?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No. No, ma'am, we haven't caught him.
Okay, thanks.
Are the school district or police doing anything different now to,
Extra
more
officers.
cars on the street?
What's the action plan?
We actually had extra officers on the street this morning. We actually tripled our numbers out around Northbrook High School, and we were patrolling a wider area because of the routes that all the different children take. And even with that extra protection, we still had this incident. It's just like you've all got locks on your doors. It's easy to kick one in.
What's the distance roughly between, I know they're not related, but roughly what's the distance between Northbrook and Springwoods?
Oh gosh, maybe a mile or two.
Okay.
So if the patrols would have been probably common to both areas, right? You would have seen a higher presence of officers around both schools or in the vicinity.
Yes,
of
ma'am,
both
this morning,
schools.
yes, absolutely. No, we take the safety of our children very, very seriously. And any type of a threat, perceived threat, we will put every resource we can. We work hand in hand with the Houston Police Department, with Precinct 5, who's also involved. We brought them in on this one as well. We talk to each other a lot, pass information on. We all have the same goal, to keep everyone safe.
Any other questions? Once again, I thank you for coming today. This is very important to all of us, and there is extra patrol on HPD's part as well. If you go out on the streets right now, I notice everything, and there's lots of police officers out there. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, can I get a clarification? I know it was a white Durango in the incidents from yesterday. Did she give a description on the vehicle from this
All I can
morning?
tell you is a gray four-door.
Okay.
On the second one.
Gray four-door.
It was a Durango from yesterday.
White
Yesterday was a Durango.
It was a white SUV, possibly a Durango, yes.
Do you have anything more you can add to the description of the suspects, height, weight, facial hair, tats, any of that business?
I don't have any of that right now, no ma'am.
Okay. Chief, anything
No, ma'am.
for your guidance?
We're on high alert in Spring Branch. How's that? Do what?
No, it's okay.
That's okay. Go ahead, Deborah. I'm listening. Once again, we appreciate once again our school district, our law enforcement. They communicate all the time, and we are a force. So please, and Crime Stoppers again, Rania, thank you for coming out. We need your help. We need the public's help, and we need to identify these guys and get them off the street. We're not going to tolerate it. Thank you.